What's the first sign of a disease outbreak? I was washing dishes when the water from the tap turned black. Dave, something's wrong with our water. My roommate rushed into the kitchen and stared at the inky liquid swirling down the drain. We'd been living in the apartment for 6 months without any issues. The landlord had mentioned some old pipes, but nothing that should cause this. Turn on the bathroom sink, Dave said. Same thing. Black water that smelled faintly metallic. We filled a glass to examine it closer. The liquid was opaque, with an oily sheen on the surface. Neither of us wanted to touch it. I'm calling the landlord. Mr. Kowalski answered on the first ring like he'd been expecting our call. When I described the black water, he went silent for several seconds before saying he'd be right over. His voice sounded different, strained. 20 minutes later, he arrived with a plumber and 2 other men I didn't recognize. They weren't dressed like maintenance workers. Dark suits, serious expressions. One carried a metal briefcase. When exactly did this start? Mr. Kowalski asked. About an hour ago. What's going on? Instead of answering, he led the group to our kitchen. The plumber immediately crawled under the sink while the suited men took water samples. They worked with practiced efficiency, barely speaking. The one with the briefcase kept checking some kind of handheld meter. You boys need to pack some things. Can't stay here tonight. Why? What's in the water? Mr. Kowalski exchanged glances with the suited men. One nodded slightly. Our landlord, who usually treated everything like a minor inconvenience, looked genuinely worried. There's an old industrial site about a mile from here, closed in the 70s. Sometimes the groundwater migrates. Migrates? Dave asked. What kind of industrial site? Chemical plant. They made dyes and pigments. The EPA cleaned it up years ago, but sometimes after heavy rain, things shift underground. We hadn't had rain in 3 weeks. I started to point this out, but one of the suited men interrupted. We need to check your basement. Now. Our building's basement was off limits to tenants. Mr. Kowalski had given us some excuse about insurance liability. He produced a key ring and led us down narrow stairs I'd never noticed before, hidden behind what I'd thought was a utility closet. The basement was larger than I'd expected. Concrete walls sweating moisture, pipes running overhead. The men with meters walked slowly, sweeping their devices back and forth. In the far corner, they found something. Here, the readings are off the charts. Part of the floor had been recently patched with new concrete. The color was slightly different from the surrounding area. One of the men knelt and ran his hand along the seam. This was poured within the last week. Who authorized this? Mr. Kowalski stepped back. I don't know anything about that. I haven't been down here in months. They called for more equipment. Within an hour, our quiet apartment building was swarming with people in hazmat suits. Dave and I were told to wait outside. Neighbors gathered on the sidewalk, asking questions nobody would answer. A woman in an EPA windbreaker finally approached us. She asked detailed questions about our health, any unusual symptoms, strange smells.